Sorry,
Go on.
I'm ill, so my voice is a bit.
So husky. Right. I'm going to hit record on OBS. Hey everyone, welcome back to our spaces. It is Wednesday the 26th of January. I have got Carlini with me as always. We're going to cover a few bits and pieces today, some of which you may already know about. Discord rug that just happened, but that seems to be back now, so that's all good. We're going to talk about our Fvck Crystals and the upcoming avatars potentially. We're going to chat a little bit about airdrop number 5. I've got some questions from the community. If you have any more questions whilst we're chatting, please let me know. If Discord is working, drop them there and tag me. If not, then you can tweet at me. Or if you have my number, you can WhatsApp me. I also want to cover a little bit about our NFTX single-sided staking again, because I've been investigating and being very dumb with that today. So yeah, apart from being ill, Carlini, how is your week been since we all last spoke?
Well, now I'm also putting a desk together because the desk was the weak part of my setup. You know, you've all seen my massive monitors, but then my desk was like an IKEA 6-year-old thing from when I moved into this house. And I was holding off on replacing it. It was broken in certain places, and I was holding off because we just bought this new house, so we're going to move in. But now we're aiming for that to be ready for Christmas this year. So it was like, right, about time to actually do something then if we're not moving imminently. So I bought a desk, and I wanted to go for a good desk, but I kind of expected it to be like putting an IKEA one together.
A little bit more in depth.
It's like it's like a proper office desk from like an office supplier, and it feels like you're supposed to get the company should get a handyman in.
He wasn't in the box and come with the box.
No, and the issue is before I found this out, I'd taken everything off my desk, which is a hell of a lot of stuff, moved it, dismantled my old desk, taken it out, and now I'm deskless. I'm just sitting here in a chair. You're holding the phone. It's a bit of a disaster spaces, really.
Oh man, I've literally just been like resetting up our setup as well, because I have to share my home office. But I've now switched around so I can actually move in and out. If my girlfriend's on camera, like for her job, then I'm not like kind of like wandering through in the background. So that's been quite nice. But yeah, sat on a chair. I need to get a new chair because this one's rubbish. But
Herman Miller.
we make do. Herman Miller. I'll send him a tweet. Be like, hey, hit me up.
No, you should buy.
Herman, what chair shall I get? Talk to me. Yes. So, where to start? I think I've got a question about this from the community as well. Let me find out who it was from. Yeah, this was from jt.pcc.eth. Great name. Just to kind of kick things off, this can be a question for Spaces, which it is. Well done. Any thoughts on how we handle the Fvck Crystal news, assuming the Kitty Vault will just mint all the fuck avatars associated to our crystals? I'm not sure how much actual ETH is in the KV wallet, ATM for gas fees, and all that. So that comes off the back of, I don't know if it's been officially, I think I saw it in the Discord, that fuck avatars are coming, and previous pieces such as the crystals, which we have in the vault, 45 of them, will get free mint plus gas, I believe. So just in terms of, how will we cover that? And I guess kind of moving forward with the vault of other things in there getting us whitelist to XYZ, how we'll kind of deal with those things moving forward is question one. It was a long-winded one, I'm sorry.
Well, if we have the ETH, which we probably should, just because we've seen a bit of an uptick in sales lately. There have been a few more, which means more fees, which means more in the community wallet. We could do a vote on if people want to spend that ETH.
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest, this time, if they vote no or we're taken by surprise, I don't know if the date is out yet.
I don't think so.
Then I'll just use my ETH. Like, if it's just gas, I don't care.
I believe that was what I saw. I don't know if someone can correct me or point me in the right direction in the server, but I believe I saw it in the Fvck Render server that it'll be free mint plus gas if you hold a previous piece, which the crystal will do.
Do we have our 1 of 1?
We not that I know of.
Oh. Because he asked me what wallet to send it to, which I interpreted as it's ready.
It's on the way.
Maybe it's not quite ready yet.
Let me have a look.
I've been bad with my Twitter DMs, so I'll get back to him.
That's exciting. Always behind.
It's just pointless reading Twitter because it's like 95%. Hey, can I promote you?
I know.
Useful, and by the time I get there, 95% of those 5% have messaged me on Discord already.
Yeah, I think I tweeted that this week of like, it's always, I like your NFT, do you want me to help market it? And never, I like your NFT, where can I get one?
Yeah.
Sad. But yeah, so JT, that is where we are with those. So yeah, very exciting. I guess like that's kind of an ongoing thing with other projects that we've got in the vault. Because of the projects that we've got in the vault, it's more likely that things like this will probably keep coming up because we've got building projects in there, projects that aren't going anywhere, that are still adding to their ecosystems and doing things. I know Patrick James obviously been very generous with Subducks and King Frogs and our beautiful Megatoad, who makes me laugh every week when I do the newsletter because he just looks so funny. So I guess things like that are probably gonna keep coming up.
Yeah, I imagine Kongs will do something as well. Because I mean, they already did that with the babies, and the babies got the VX. And got something coming out for banana, and we've presumably got lots of banana.
I think we will, because it was a while. We cashed some in a while ago. It was last year.
Yeah, I can't remember what we did with it. What was it for?
I think we swept the floor. So we liquidated the banana and then voted on what we're going to use it on.
Didn't we? No, we voted at the same time. It was sell banana and buy Purrs, sell banana and buy something, sell banana and something, or hold banana, I think.
And there we go. We sold it. But luckily, 2 Jenny Kongs. We just make more banana. It's fine.
I'm sure I read somewhere for the Fvck Render Crystals. If you have a 1 of 1, you get a 1 of 1 avatar.
Ooh, spicy.
True. I think I saw Hoddle say that somewhere.
Very nice. Very nice.
Discord thing.
Yeah, I mean that'd be really cool, and obviously that will add more value to the vault, which is fantastic. So yeah, the other big thing that I wanted to cover, and I don't know how much of this we can actually drop, but obviously airdrop number 5 is very close, and I don't know whether you wanted to share anything of where we are with that, what sort of timescale we're looking at, or if there's anything you wanted to kind of seed at the moment.
Well, I think we're going to send out another placeholder. So we'll probably take the snapshot soon. What day is it? It's Wednesday.
It is Wednesday.
And I wanted to do it before Saturday. So either Thursday or Friday, when best suits Snapshot Hoddle, we'll take a snapshot and send out, like the time we sent out the placeholder. I think
That was literally the last day of the month. That actually brings me to another question that we had, which was from vr.pcc.eth, which is, do the airdrops always come out on the last day of the month? And yes, but probably not quite by design.
Yeah, it's like I've said before, it's just that every month trying to deliver something, and then every month we're still dealing. So, for instance, we're still dealing with the hoodies, we're still dealing with the models. I guess we still have things to do with the kittens, and we're still dealing with the comic, last month. So as each month goes by, we're sort of sending out an airdrop and saying this is what it's going to be. I mean, it is an airdrop, it is an NFT, and when fractional 2.0, it is a fraction of the kitty bank.
Mm-hmm.
And lots of other projects have just airdropped an NFT that does nothing, whereas ours is currently a fraction of the kitty vault and will be claimable for, well, most of them will be claimable for something. Actually, all of them, because kittens, you could claim a kitten, right?
Exactly. Yeah, so it's 2 confirmed companions, and then you can redeem them for a hoodie. We've got ones that you redeem for the models, which I'm very excited about. One's for the comic, and then whatever this one is. So Snapshot is very soon.
The models are very close.
Yeah, I saw Huddle was doing some behind the scenes bits and pieces for that today, I believe.
The models, in theory, like, we could take the orders very soon. We've got our deal with the model people is 50 a month.
Yep.
So how we'll do that is sort of a first come first serve. Here are the sign up for these, and we'll tell you when you sign up. We'll tell you sort of where you are in the queue, I guess. If you're 50th, you'll be in the first batch. If you're 51st, you'll be in the second batch. And in reality, we have no idea of demand. We don't know how many people are sitting there wanting one, but we have committed to 50 a month, so we'll be getting them for ourselves regardless. If 50 people don't sign up in the first month,
I'm gonna have my desk covered in 50 pappers.
well, at least they'll survive. Yeah, one will survive, right?
You'd hope so. I think it's. I think wanting to bring that value to each airdrop that we do, and we obviously, we committed to one a month very early doors at the start of this process. I think that probably would have been roadmap 2, like the first item on that. I think was one of the first things that we committed to after we sold and started completing like our original roadmap points. But I think that desire that we've got to offer things, not just, hey, here's another NFT from your collection. It's like, well, each one of them does 2 things. So, like you said, you've got the fraction of the vault, which I'm very much looking forward to crunching some numbers on that either tomorrow or Friday morning when I put the newsletter together. Because the Fvck Crystals that I mentioned at the moment, they've gone up by like 0.4 ETH per one, and we've got 45 of them. I think the Bored Apes floor has gone mental again. I saw somebody tweet, it's like, I'm gonna go get myself another Bored Ape before they go parabolic. I'm like, what do you mean before they go parabolic? It's 93 ETH floor. What are we talking about? The fact that we are adding that each airdrop that we do has value is something I'm really proud of, and to then have all of those things out in the wild once those physicals start getting delivered is going to be really, really exciting. I'm very, very much looking forward to that.
Well, that's
lovely.
When the physicals, we saw, for instance, with Bored Apes with their merch early doors with the hoodie. It just started being shared on social media, and it's just another aspect, right? And we saw that ourselves with Nifty Slabs. We had quite a few people who bought in because they saw the Nifty Slabs on social media. So it's just getting these things out, and they're all sort of coming like all together, I guess. The hoodies are they've been moved to a factory now that are sort of more bulk producing them. So we won't be able to make them to order anymore. It won't be you order it, we send off the order to them, they make it, and then send it to you. It will be they make them all with various sizes, send them to us, and then we let you claim, and we can send it to you right away. So that allows us to control the packaging a bit more and sort of the unboxing experience.
Oh, that's fun.
But it also means that once we open up the claims for the hoodie, you'll get it much sooner than I thought you would, because I thought they were going to then have to be produced. We were going to do it in batches, where say there'd be a 1 month window where you could claim a hoodie, and then it would close, and then we'd send it off, and they'd make them all to order. But we're going to order, okay, I think it's 500, and then sort of go through that. So as someone claims, it gets sent out instantly. Well, a few days later,
Shipping and handling, of course. That's really cool. That's really exciting, actually.
So the hoodie will be is coming close. The model is close. The comic is not as close, but if you sort of timed it, because it was only last month's item, it's technically close. What else do it? They're the
number 5. We've already completed. Well, we've almost completed on kittens. There's 4,000 more kittens to come, which is very exciting for that as well. But yeah, I think you're right. I had this conversation with a couple of people today, just like we're really close to all these physical things, and then kind of being able to have all of those out in the wild, and the unboxing experiences that we've gone with for the models, I think is really, really awesome. And everything else, having a little bit more control over the hoodie sounds really cool as well. So that's exciting. I think it's like coming soon. So that's really cool. The other thing, I've got a couple of other questions, but the other thing I wanted to cover, just because I wanted to investigate this I wanted to try and understand how it all worked, and then I didn't quite understand exactly what was going on. But was the single-sided staking that you can now do on NFTX with our liquidity pool. So I staked earlier today, including my birthday present. But this now means that I've got 2.9999 per staked and locked for a further 161 hours. And then after that, I get some sort of reward. That's my understanding.
No, that is incorrect.
Well, there we are.
That time frame means nothing.
Fine.
All the time frame means is you can't pull that out, because you opted to sell your Purrs and then stake in one transaction.
Yes.
NFTX encourage staking, so they remove the fee when you do that. Normally, when you sell a Purr, you would get 0. But when you would sell an NFT in the NFTX pool, you will get 0.95 per back.
Yes.
And that 0.05 per that has now vanished would go proportionally to everyone who is staking. So that's effectively the reward, the staking rewards. That's where it comes from. But because you sold and opted to stake, they forego that fee, but they time lock it on when you can actually withdraw. So
Gotcha.
that means that what have you done? You are now, I believe you are now receiving staking rewards when someone buys or sells into the pool.
Ooh. So there we go.
If there's a fee, you will propose. So if someone sells and gets 0.95 and then stakes and has no time lock, you will get a proportion of that. Does it tell you what share of the pool you are?
Pool share 13.889% is what it says.
So for every, I don't have my PC to put this in, but for every cat that's sold, you will get 13% of 0.05 per, which must be close to. If there's 8 sales, you get 1 per.
Cool.
No, if there's 8 sales, you get a whole 0.05 ETH. 5 per, sorry. So you would need 160 sales to get a per.
Well, hey, I'm in it for the long term, so
it had, though, because like if you remember Jeff,
yes,
that was hundreds of cats, and people do use the pool all the time. Every pool bot transaction you will now be getting per on.
There we go. I probably will. I won't stay in there. I wanted to do it. I think I went in and out of the pool initially once we first launched it, because my best way of understanding stuff is to kind of use it and then from experience be like, okay, cool, that's how that works. But yeah, so that's why I wanted to do that, and then obviously, yeah, other people can use that as well. I think NFTX have done really, really cool stuff since the start. That's why they won. They won the DVD versus VHS thing with NFTX and NFT20. Fantastic. Let's move on to a couple of questions. Just had one through actually, which links into what we were talking about with the staking from Andy. So yeah, good to hear from you, my friend. Do you lose the chance at airdrops if you stake? If you do this kind of staking or any kind of staking?
If you do this kind of staking, no. If you do other kind of staking, I mean, you talking about Purrs? Because if you're talking
Yes, we're talking about Purrs, baby.
about Purrs, there is no other staking.
Yeah.
And the goal very much for our staking would be that you don't get punished. So one of the problems with staking is, I think this kind of staking started with, was it Anonymice or just whatever they were, where the mice were free or something, and then they gave out the token cheese to people who staked their mice, and then you could breed more mice with cheese or something along those lines. They required you to stake in a contract, and what that would mean is, say Twitter's NFT integration, you now can't use that NFT and get the hexagon or the octagon or whatever it is, whatever they've gone for, because you don't own your NFT. The contract owns your NFT. You know that you can pull it out again and prove that you own it at any point, but third parties aren't going to work that way. They're not going to be like, okay, just plug your contract into me and we'll check that it says that you own it. It's just never going to work. Like, imagine Discord, Twitter, Facebook, when all of these places are using NFTs, staking contracts just aren't going to be the way, I don't think, that way, because people want to own their NFT, and I'm not sure people truly know they don't own their NFT if they're staking it. That contracts get exploited all the time, mainly in the DeFi world, not really NFT world. Meta Hero, they did get exploited for their, what was it? One of the planet DAOs, maybe it was Earth. I wasn't actually in it, so I'm not 100%. But you had to burn your comic to get a certain DAO, one of the more expensive planets, I think, or something like that. But they didn't check that you owned the comic that you were burning in their contract. Someone figured that out and just started burning other people's comics because the contract had control to do that, and that person was then getting the planet, whatever it was, they would get the rewards of burning someone else's comic. And obviously Pixel Vault made good, and I'm sure some people weren't happy because they had a low number or something, but they got something like a black card. I'm mainly going on vague tweets I read, but they gave the people that were exploited, some sort of lifetime mint pass or something like that. It was higher value than what they would have got had they burnt. So they did go and fix it. But that was just an example of a contract getting exploited and someone losing their NFT. So when you're staking, you're not even DeFi contracts that have been audited by three different companies still get there are more people targeting it because you're talking about billions of dollars locked up often that then ends up getting hacked, and they get away with double-digit millions, but it's not as safe as some form of off-chain staking. But then it's one of those things, like Ethereum is always likely to be the most decentralized and safest layer one that we can do NFT stuff on. Solana and Flow and all these other Tezos, they all lower security to up speed, or they lower decentralization to up speed, to lower fees. It's always a toss up. So off-chain staking is worse in other ways. It's not on-chain. We love on-chain. But what if it was on a different chain? Or what if it was really cheap on-chain? Or just what if you didn't have to lock up your NFT with us? What if we could do something fun where you had to go on our website and it would send your cat to the country club, and you'd watch it walk off, with his bag's packed or something. But you still owned it, but you couldn't do anything with it. We somehow, sort of go, okay, this is now this cat is now staking. If you do anything with it, it will no longer be staking, and it will be sent back to you. It will come back from the country club, but it will always be in your wallet. You'll always be able to prove it's yours. It will always. So it's always a question of what is the best thing, because there is almost always no absolute guaranteed, no question best. There's never an option that is best in every single crypto thing, I guess. There's always Bitcoin is the most decentralized. ETH is less decentralized, but it's better than Solana. But ETH is slower than Solana, but it's safer than Solana, and it doesn't go down. And there are all these. ETH is obviously way better than Solana. Just in case anyone's listening, they're like, "Oh my god, you like Solana?" No, I don't like Solana. A good example of how you can be faster and cheaper if you trade off other things. And staking is almost similar, as in, if you force a lockup in another contract, you end up in, effectively you pump the floor, right? Because you're locking up supply. People want to lock up the supply. Genesis Kongs have done it differently, where you can still get your rewards without having to lock them up. But they had to do that. They had to migrate the contract. So everything has a negative and everything has a positive, and you're just trying to weigh up what the best way is. I'm excited to see what this game changer then has, because I I still don't know if it's, like a whole token space game changer, or if it's like a technical game changer that most people listening here wouldn't care about, but seeing the implementation would be great. So just not unsure on that, but yeah.
I think that's exciting. And yeah, I think like you said, you've got to weigh it up, and then that's why different projects offer things in different ways, is because you'd like to think that every project is weighing it up or what's best for the community that we have, what's best to grow that community into where we want it to go, or what's best for the people that we've got involved, etc., etc. So yeah, there's always ways around everything. I think, as we've seen with bits and pieces, well, it seems to be Bored Apes all the time, I guess, because they are the most well known at this point. But that OpenSea listings thing that happened, which we actually spoke about. Well, I was speaking it, but we mentioned it on TikTok a while back, of that exploit being like a thing.
Yeah, so
just kind of like pivoting onto that, I guess.
A lot of people don't seem to understand it in any way. Like I was listening into a Spaces that I requested to speak on, because everyone was pretty much talking nonsense, and I thought I could tell them what's actually going on. But I didn't get called up, and no one just had a clue. So what's happening?
Okay, this is your Spaces now, so I can't shut you up.
No one can. Start. Just for everyone playing the drinking game, CryptoKitties.
Got him.
But the so you initialize your wallet on OpenSea, which is a transaction, and then you initialize the contract. So that would be you tell OpenSea, this is the first transaction. You say, hey OpenSea, I'm going to allow you to sell any of my Bored Apes. Here is me linking your API to my wallet. Like you set, I can't remember what it's actually called. All of the sort of technical stuff, I don't know. I just know how it works. So it's something like allow transfer, open brackets, close brackets. It's a function along those lines that you then allow OpenSea to interact with whatever you're selling. So be it Purrs or Bored Apes. And at that point, OpenSea can technically at any point send all of your NFTs of that contract wherever they want. It's not how it works, and you've got to trust in the smart contracts, but that is what you're allowing OpenSea access to, that contract. So for Purrs, you would put in the Purrs contract, it's initialized, and it will now allow sales. When you list something for sale, you select the NFT, you select a price, and you then put it for sale. And what that does is it creates a hash that is then signed, because you don't actually pay gas. You just sign a transaction, which sends to OpenSea's API a hash, which effectively says this NFT and this price. That's what you want to sell, and on a contract that you've already allowed them to move. So it's worth remembering that if you have two Bored Apes and you have sold one, technically OpenSea can always move that other one until you cancel that connection. So the other part is this hash that was just created for a certain price, for a certain contract, for a certain NFT on that contract. Now that hash is now on the blockchain. I don't fully know How? I think what happens is OpenSea gets a bunch of them, and then they pay the gas on sort of batching those out. So some of their 2.5%, which obviously is going to be nowhere near, but they will spend some gas putting that hash onto the blockchain, and that's out there, and their API can read that. So an OpenSea API knows that if that hash, which can only be created via your private key and those exact variables that you just put into the price in the NFT, it will always accept that unless you blacklist that hash. So the hash is now on the blockchain, and to blacklist it, you have to send a gas transaction, which is what people aren't doing. So if you lower the price of an NFT, that original hash still exists. So if you list your Bored Ape for 100 and then you lower it to 70 and it sells at 70, that hash for 100 Ethereum still exists. Now, this hasn't been commonly seen because if you own an NFT and you sell it, it's very rare for you to then get back that same NFT because the hash requires that exact ERC721. It would, you sell per number 10, you need to have per number 10 back in your exact same wallet for that exploit to be used. Where we've seen it commonly happening is when someone has listed in the early days, they've listed a board, they minted a Bored Ape and then they listed it for a crazy high 5 Ethereum. They're like, what? Great. Like day one. And then they've lowered it to 4. And then they've lowered it to 3. And then lowered it to 2. And then lowered it to 1. And then thought, oh, the floor's at 0.7. Actually, it's coming up. And they've cancelled the 0. They've cancelled the 1. And this leaves a hash for 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now, previously, people weren't looking for these hashes. Just think how many times have people listed on OpenSea? That must be millions of hashes. And OpenSea rate limit. You need to get to find these. You need access to the OpenSea API, which you can request. So whoever's doing this has probably requested an API for a project. So for example, we got one for Penelope's because we wanted to do stuff. Maybe you just contact them and say you're looking to do a sales bot that will tweet out big sales or something like that. And they've gone, okay, here's an API key, but you are limited in how much you can search. So people will be getting these API calls through, and they'll get, I don't even know how much it's limited to, let's just say 1,000, and they'll then sort them and be like, no, none of those are good. It probably even feeds into a bot or something that automatically goes and buys something that is well undervalued. But that's what's limiting. That's why, because a few days ago someone had their Bored Ape bought for 0.77 Ethereum. And it's not always this whole sending to another wallet thing, because some people were sending their Bored Ape to, or just any NFT, to another wallet, because effectively that wallet doesn't meet one of the criteria. So the hash needs the wallet to be the original one that signed the hash. The NFT needs to be in that one. It needs to be the exact same NFT, and then it's for sale for that price. So they were sending it away. And then there was an issue where they were sending it back, thinking it was cancelled because the OpenSea user interface wasn't showing it as for sale, even though it still was. And by sending it back, they then met the requirements again for that hash to be valid because the NFT was in the right wallet. They hadn't cancelled their connection to OpenSea selling on that contract, so they still could, and the price was still there. The UI wasn't showing it, which is very bad because most people wouldn't. Everyone I see who says, "Oh, these idiots, they just don't know about the block," but that's not truly fair because those people saying that think that the listing is a full gas transaction. They don't know that it's mostly OpenSea API. They're like, the people saying this don't truly know what they're saying either, which is what got me, because I've engaged with a few of them and they had no clue. So maybe I'm just generalizing after speaking to maybe 10, 15 people who said that, but I don't think most of the people who saying, "Oh, idiot ape holders," actually know what's going on. So we saw the original issue where people were sending their ERC 721s to another wallet and then back to think they were cancelling the sale. But then the issue there was they were still showing as on sale for Rarible. So it was almost like a couple of years ago, I was an online gambler, and we did things called loopholes, where you would try and figure out ways to screw over the casinos when they put out good offers. And as different casinos put out different offers, you would sort of learn how you could, we could do this at that casino, so we'll try and do it at this casino. So what happened with that first issue is it proved that those 721s were still on sale. Transferring them away doesn't do anything if they're transferred back, which you kind of get anyway. A lot of people did know, but many didn't. But a lot of people didn't know to go looking for it. Rarible showed these for sale because Rarible presumably has requested OpenSea's API, so they're using it. And again, the exact details might be slightly out, but this is speaking more broadly. They were then purchased on Rarible, but they're technically kind of purchased on OpenSea via Rarible. And that sort of opened the floodgates for people thinking, right, what has actually done this? So we didn't see these exploits happening all the time. And I think Rarible was showing it based on a certain age. So the one that sold for 0.77 Ethereum a few days ago was like a day one listing. It was a day of mint listing. Maybe not day one, but maybe last day of mint. And Rarible wasn't picking those up. And then we had the issues with 1155s. So if you think about what I've just said about how lowering the price keeps the original hash active. Now, that's not normally an issue, because if you're lowering the price and you sell your NFT, that NFT is gone. You never normally get it back. I think, is it Daniel 100.eth? Something along those lines. He had a lot of Purrs at one point.
Yeah.
He sold a Smiler, which he'd lowered the price on, and then bought the exact same one back a few days ago, and it was instantly sniped because someone's now set up a recent bot. So if you know to look for this, so after Rarible happened, people knew to look for these hashes, and you can set up bots that pull all the new listings. So every listing from now on, people will have the hashes. They will have all the information needed, because they'll just store that in a database and just keep scanning and waiting for that database to be useful. Whereas they didn't know to look for that before the Rarible situation of being able to buy these unlisted on OpenSea for sale NFTs. But now people know to go digging. So I guess one example I'll use is I used to use a casino called NetBet, and you could get offers on NetBet if you were a VIP. And I had an account that got to VIP, and I got sent a code that was VIP 200 whatever. And then I thought, what if I try this code on my wife's account? Like, I've got the code now. I'll give it a go. Like, why not? It worked. And I was like, 200. It's quite a small number. Let's try 500. Worked on both accounts. How about 1,000? Worked on both accounts. So when people have made money because of something, they will then dig, which is almost how everyone here listening got into NFTs. You made an NFT, you bought your first NFT, you got hooked, you dug deeper, right? You find an exploit, you make some money, you dig deeper. So now people are digging for these old OpenSea hashes so that they can then buy them using that hash, because technically it's still listed. So if you're worried because that's something you did, the best thing you can do is OpenSea have actually released a tool a few days ago.
I've got the tweet pinned on the Spaces at the moment.
Oh, have you? Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So
finally figured out how to do that.
We're becoming such pros.
Getting there.
Yeah, so you can go to their Rarible have a tool as well, which they got out much sooner, sort of as a here we're fixing OpenSea's problems on a tool, which was funny to see. And Looks Rare also have one that allow you to cancel all of them in a one low gas transaction, I think it was.
Yeah, you can cancel every listing you've got across every collection that you're listing anything. So you can cancel everything in one transaction.
And that I would, unless you're actively still trying to sell, I think it's just worth doing if you've been here a while, just because we've all listed stuff that we don't really fully remember. We've all changed the price. We've all changed our minds. Do you really know if you cancelled that transaction? Did you send the gas to blacklist that hash, or did you just cancel the lowest listing? Did you lower it and not cancel the higher one? Like, if you don't know that you actually went and cancelled a higher listing, then I don't think you did, because the UI is not, is not good for that. You do not think, oh, I've cancelled the lowest sale. Now let's go cancel the next lowest sale. Because in reality, when you cancel that next your lowest sale, the UI should show that your NFT is still for sale as whatever your next lowest sale was. So.
And that's what you were saying about the OpenSea UI. You wouldn't think to do that even if you had cancelled the lowest one, because I would assume, and I've assumed this before, is when you lower the price, the previous price is no longer valid. But
yes, I do think the blame lies purely with OpenSea, and sure, it is mostly Bored Apes getting hit by this, but that's just the nature of the collection. So obviously you target.
If you're going to exploit it for the biggest gain, right?
Yeah, if you can only get a certain amount of calls, API calls, you will target Bored Apes, right? They sell for the most. Punks are up there, autoglyphs are higher, but they haven't experienced the same sort of thing as you don't sell punks on OpenSea, and autoglyphs aren't really that type of product. There's so few of them, and they're just not really the same. They're not like for like. A lot of Bored Ape holders came to the space in 2021 in a much more UI friendly experience. You expect to trust your user interface when you're using it. So I do think it's OpenSea's issue, and I have seen that they're dealing with it. They have reached out to people with offers for much more than the 2.5%. I believe they're trying to. I haven't seen, for example, the 0.77 was a crown ape, which is much higher than floor. I don't know if they're going to offer crown floor level of ETH, because that's a lot that they're going to be paying back, or if they're just going for a Bored Ape floor level, which wouldn't be enough, but is still a hell of a lot of money they're giving away.
Yeah,
and I know they pull in so much money every day. Like, I know it's ridiculous, but I don't think that level of refund has it ever been seen outside of like a court hearing or something like that.
it'd be pretty. Say thick end of what, $200,000 to maybe more now.
They're quite lucky that Ethereum's on its way to $1, so it'll be quite cheap.
They'll just wait. It's like, okay, yeah, now you can have your ETH back. There you go. Yeah, it's wild, and I guess that's what's really good in the space for a high-profile new marketplace like Looks Rare. I think Rarible would probably have had a similar impact if it had launched when Looks Rare launched, and Looks Rare was Rareable. It's like the fact that there's a shiny new thing that you can go and play with that does the same as the old thing that everyone's been whinging about because it's so good and so popular, I think is positive for OpenSea in the future, because it's like, well, we can't just do nothing. We can't just kind of let these things go or half-assedly try and fix them. There's a real competitor in the space to us now, so we have to do more, which hopefully leaves them to kind of innovating again and doing things, that will push things forward, because they'll have competition, and that's what competition does, right?
I think why people don't see Rareable as such a big competitor is just because originally they didn't go for the same thing. Like Rareable tried to be sort of the Instagram of art sales. It was quite hard to search for stuff. If you wanted something exact, it was quite hard to find it, and it felt like design. So you'd scroll and look at art. It was very much focused on art. And when us dirty collectibles people came in, it was hard for us to find our collections because it was focused on artists. And maybe that sort of left the view of, the pre-2021ers. Before those, everyone thought Rareable was not for every NFT, which then filters down via all the new, most people in this space has someone that they speak to about NFTs the most, and or someone that has like guided them, like, hey, should I buy this? No, that's a dumb derivative. What are you doing? That sort of thing. And whenever anyone asks me about Rareable in, late 2020 or early 2021, I would say, it's mainly for art. It's quite hard to search for what you want to sell. It's not really for us. Whereas I tried to search on a Spaces the other day to kind of prove my point, and it seems they've, they are trying now to be an OpenSea competitor in a more similar way. But the issue is that sort of that already, there's that bias already that in my head, it's mainly for art, and it's sort of an Instagram scroll experience, where that's not what they're going for anymore. But that's just been my years of experience there, and that's hard to change. So things like sending out that link that cancels before OpenSea, that helps to push them back into the competitor spot.
Definitely. Yeah, which, as I said, I think can only be positive moving forward, because if it makes OpenSea better, then you can keep improving from there, which is good. But yeah, glad we covered that, because I know that's kind of been a hot topic, and I've seen it everywhere. And I was probably less forgiving than you've just been, kind of saying it was OpenSea's fault. I was like, probably in the other camp where you were like, no, just enough to still be stupid, which I think is probably my wheelhouse on that at the moment. So that's good to kind of to go through that. So that's cool. I don't think I've got anything else I wanted to cover. I did mention Grimace Coin before you came on, because I've seen McDonald's tweeting at a lot of kind of crypto and NFT people in the last few days. I think we did it. It was our fault, not us personally, but like the space in general. Like everyone tweeting that they're off to work at McDonald's. Then McDonald's are finally like, maybe we can do something with this.
Oh, no, not finally. They've it's happened before.
It's happened before.
Oh yeah, this is maybe the first time this cycle.
Like,
I seem to remember some sort of what was it? It was like a Wendy's a Wendy's versus McDonald's back in the day. Their social medias were having some sort of battle about who would get all of the crypto during the dip. All the employees.
Well, they're coming out with their own. They're bringing Grimace Coin, which I'm pretty sure is fake, but it looks kind of nice. and you'll be able to buy a Big Mac with Dogecoin. It's all going to be great. Can't wait.
Lovely.
Unless there's any further questions from anyone in the audience, if anyone wants to come up and ask something specific, anyone in the Discord, if you've got anything, I think we'll let this husky sick man get some rest, or maybe finish building a desk. I don't know what you're up to.
They sent me the wrong things.
There is
they
no
sent me
rest.
the wrong parts.
Wait, it's non-stop rugs for you today.
I've been rugged. I found out during this spaces, but they've sent me the parts. So I'm building the support for under the desk, and they've sent me this. My desk is sort of a half L, and they've sent me the parts for a full L. So the support would go further than the table. And I've completely dismantled my PC setup, so I'm like fully rugged.
Oh no.
It is unbelievably down bad.
This is terrible. Send help.
This is the worst trade deal in the history of trade deals.
This is interesting from Kita in the server in the clubhouse. The type of staking that we were talking about earlier apparently is what Holyverse NFT has done. So you can see your NFTs in your wallet, but on OpenSea they're assigned to a central wallet vault. So something like that. I don't know if that's worth looking into.
In OpenSea, they're on a central wallet.
But you can see them in your wallet.
Where? You see them in your wallet where? On Fvck?
I guess so.
Because presumably you couldn't see them in your wallet on OpenSea. If OpenSea... Let me go in Discord and see what you...
It's from keytothekitty.eth, which is... It's very nice because we get lots of IRL cat pictures from Kita, who's met, amongst others, Ricky Gervais, which is pretty cool. So in MetaMask, you see it in MetaMask, but on OpenSea, it's in a central wallet vault.
Where? Okay. Can you see it on Etherscan? I don't really trust MetaMask.
Yeah, because I've got stuff in my MetaMask on my phone that is very much not there anymore. It's very much been sold.
Yeah, if it's there on Etherscan, I trust Etherscan. So
that's interesting.
I would be surprised. To me, I would say that sounds like a visual point of view, but if it's there on Etherscan, I'll believe it.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Amazing. I don't think I have any requests from the audience. Lovely. Cool. No one in the extra chair this week, but I think next week I want to get Katie on. I know she's listening. Hey, Katie. Yeah, just because lots of people asked for her voice on here as well. I think it would be really cool. The video that she put out yesterday was excellent, even though it was designed to not be excellent.
When Josh?
Can't leave. When is Josh back? Sweet Lord.
The best part of that is it was like pretending that everything's going wrong, and then it did because we sent out the wrong one.
Then forgot to put the music on the final render.
Which is just perfect.
Oh, so good. So good. Tell them the news, Ellie. That was my favourite line. I want that on a t-shirt. Excellent. But yeah, I think that'd be really cool. I've enjoyed having Jamie and having Dangy up here the last couple of weeks. I think, to kind of break it up and get different voices on here and kind of their viewpoints. And as I said before, I want other people from other projects to come and talk to us as well. So if anyone wants to talk to us on our spaces, then let me know. I'll be reaching out to people myself anyway. This has been really fun as always. I think that is everything.
Cool.
Unless you've got anything else to say, but I think we're good.
I do not.
We are game night tomorrow. We are going to play some Fortnite again because we haven't in a while. Yeah, I was going to say, you probably won't if you've got any semblance of a desk. But hopefully next week, all being well for game night next week, so not the one tomorrow, but the one next week after that, we will hopefully be having a quiz night with prizes and all of that fun stuff. But if you want to come and chill with me in the lobby bar tomorrow, I'll be streaming some Fortnite. You can join in. We can try and get the W. We'll be back next week with another Spaces. We might be back on Monday with a airdrop announcement space.